yo, 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 yo. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone is already joining in. We're ready to have another great broadcast today. Just waiting for some people to join in. I hope everyone is doing fine. Yeah, let's just wait for another quick minute. We're just waiting for the community to join in, and then we'll dive in on what we're going to discuss today, because we have another great broadcast ready for you. There we go. There we go. All right. I see. There we go. There's already 50 people. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now it's live. Okay. So, guys, welcome everyone. For whoever is here that doesn't know me, I'm Paulus. You probably have seen me in the previous broadcasts. And later today, I'm joined again by my good friend Scorpio. When we go to the Reform Studio, he will join me. Yeah, first let's have a quick look on what we're going to discuss today. Well, we do a quick update on the Reform Academy. Then it's followed by a nice achievement update video, which you guys will be seeing on the live broadcast. Then we go to the Reform News Studio to talk all about the news and the latest trends in the last few days in the crypto space. Followed by a nice new Academy update video where we dive into the Reform Academy topics that we discuss here in the broadcast. And then, of course, we go to the Reform Classroom, the Reform Broadcast Academy, where we have another great topic today, the Reform DAO operations, where we do a deep dive in some of the topics that we discussed over the last weeks. And this is a small topic of that which we haven't really highlighted yet. And then we ended up with a nice Q&A session, like always. We had our community members that asked some nice questions again. So yeah, let's kick it off with a quick update on the Reform Academy. We are live for almost a week. Tomorrow we will update, and a new chapter will be added to the Academy, which also means that the airdrop will change slightly, because people that start their airdrop journey and the Academy journey after tomorrow will have to complete all 5 instead of the current 4 chapters of the Academy to be eligible for the airdrop. However, if you already completed all of the steps and claimed the complete Galaxy campaign, you are already eligible for the airdrop. And there will be a nice extra if you continue in the Academy, because we want all of you to go through everything, because yeah, it's just great to learn about Reform, to learn about the crypto industry, about market making, etc. We have over 3,000 people. You will see that in the video that's about to play as well, that already completed the Reform Academy so far, which is incredible, because we really put a lot of information in there, which means at least you have read all of it and you understand all of that. So that's great to hear. Yeah, so without further ado, let's go to the video. And in the meantime, I'm going to the Reform Studio to meet up with Scorpio. Yeah, guys, enjoy the video. There's some great cool numbers on here. All right, all right. I hope everyone is still
Alrighty.
here. And there we go. We got our big friend Scorpio with us today. Hey, man, how are you doing?
Hey, here we are again. Sorry, I'm just calibrating my camera. Otherwise, you will not see my face moving. Will be a little bit
Aha.
difficult. So takes a little bit to calibrate my face.
No worries, man. No worries.
But
We got
yeah,
all the
I'm
time in the
here. I'm
world.
here. You can hear me, and you can see it. So we're all good and well.
Hey. Good,
And
good,
it's
good.
working. There we are. Hey. Welcome. Thank you, guys.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, great, guys. Welcome in the Reform Studio once again. Yes, Scorpio, a lot has happened, like always, because we're in a very, very bullish time at the moment. And I got some nice highlights of the news that happened over the last few days. Well, to start off with, BTC at $73,000, a new all-time high, just a few hours ago. I didn't even know if you. I don't know if you already saw it, but it's not a bullish week. What do you think?
Yeah, well, we actually started this broadcast when Bitcoin was trending already quite hard. But I actually don't know what the price was back then. I think something like what 40K or something. And yeah, as of now, never expected it to already break the all-time high so fast. It's now at 70, 73. And I think this will just this is just the start of a very very good bull run. Whereby we're all well positioned and well ahead of the big herd actually coming in. So yeah, everyone who is here already, praise yourselves and be ready for a nice market. I've been through it already for 2 times, and I can tell you that life these moments can be life changing. Especially us also launching with Reform. This is the time to be in the market. This is the time to shine. This is the time to do whatever you're good at.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great words there. I can't agree more with you. It's an amazing time ahead of us, and it's just a start, right? Like normally these things last a year, 1.5 years. The halving still needs to happen, which is only going to kickstart it more, I feel. So yeah, it's a great time to be alive. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In other news, looking at, of course, the things we have already discussed over the last few weeks, BlackRock and Fidelity are now holding over 331,500 Bitcoins, which is worth over $23 billion as collateral for their Bitcoin spot ETF. Where do you think this will go? I mean, how many Bitcoins are they going to buy?
It's always a matter of how much will they put in, because these financial institutions, they're like, well, I think we discussed it also last week. They are so big. Like BlackRock in itself has like 8 trillion. So this is like just tip of the iceberg. And the more this progresses, the more actually the network effect will play out amongst the financial institutions and the traditional parties. The more actually inflow there will be for the Bitcoin ETFs, and also the more collateral in terms of BTC needs to be held within custody. So yeah, this is good. It keeps on growing. We see no outflow yet. This is a great time, and actually to be ahead of the herd, like mentioned before. So I think all good and well. Let's keep them. Let's make them keep buying, and let's get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to add on top of that, our good friends at MicroStrategy just bought another 12,000 Bitcoin, so they're listening to you.
Yeah, well, they also did a big raise, right? A big raising round. So I think they managed to close it and buying even more Bitcoin. So that's
Cool. Yeah, it's crazy. They raised I believe 600 something million, and they bought Bitcoin worth 820 million. So they even added a little bit more funds that they already had laying around. So it's it's incredible. And you can see that all of these parties are so extremely bullish because, for example, another point that was in the news is Van Eck. They removed all the spot BTC ETF trading fees until the end of the month.
That's cool.
So it's like they're they're probably pushing for a bit of a piece of the action, of course, but yeah, it's great to see that there's so much demand.
And they're just trying to compete, right, with each other. It's also fun to see. Like Van Eck
Exactly,
is
right.
waiving the fees, and yeah, then another one will come that will do something else just to get the traction to their product. But that's interesting to see. I did not know that actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's great to see they're battling it out to see who gets the biggest piece of the pie. A little bit more of a serious topic than just all the bullish news from the big companies is that the U.S. inflation percent has risen again a little bit. It's up to 3.2% now, and it's actually higher than what a lot of people expected. Over the last few years, you probably have seen in the news as well that whenever there is anything around the inflation changing in the US, it's directly big news in crypto, but also there was always quite a big impact. Right now, I think it's not that big anymore, but maybe you can explain a little bit how this is reflected in the crypto market, right? So, yeah, how does that work?
Yeah, so inflation in general, of course, is creating more money in the essence. And yeah, whenever there's more money created, of course, things will get more expensive in the end. But yeah, people will also get more money to spend. So I think, yeah, for now, it's actually an interesting time because the more they print money, the more bailouts there will be, and the less interest rates. Yeah, the better it is for actually people to be incentivized to start, investing in alternative investments. And I think especially this also in relation to crypto is a super nice thing because having a sort of bull cycle around the corner, a lot of awareness and attention by the all-time high being broken. Just gives also with the space of the inflation and more money and supply, gives room for people to actually start again investing in alternative investments. It's of course also dependent on the interest rates. I do actually not know what they did last month, but or what they are right now. But yeah, in the end, it's a good thing. So more money, more, and people are more willing to buy alternative assets.
Nice. So even a bigger or another bullish signal for the crypto industry, which I think is very good.
Yeah, exactly. So historically, the crypto market has always been boosted by this narrative, so to say. So there was a lot of printing of money, so there was an abundance. But of course, after an abundance of money, there will also be they cut the supply, so to say, with hiring the interest rates. They did that, of course, I think last year it was mainly. And yeah, we just have to see how that develops over time this year. And if they just lowering interest rates and just keeping printing, then there will be more money and people will be willing to spend it. And that's good that's good for crypto.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Well, I got some more bullish news on Bitcoin, obviously, because I did some digging into some of the numbers in terms of how big Bitcoin is now, and Bitcoin actually passed the Swiss franc, so the fiat currency of Switzerland, and is now the 13th biggest currency in the world.
Yeah, and what's funny? It also became bigger than the market cap of silver. So
That's my next point.
Oh, good. Fuck. I didn't even.
You're even talking about the news points before me now. Yeah, indeed. It's the 8th largest asset in the world as well, and it passed the market cap of silver.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is how people actually know that it's really live, right? It's not all acted, and it's just how it is. But it's crazy, right? No one could have thought it actually before, or let's say the bigger parties would have thought so. But now, with a lot of inflow, a lot of growth, let's grow it to the market cap of gold, and then see what we can challenge from there. Which is still a way to go, but yeah, I think now flipping already silver is a great milestone.
By the time it flips gold, all of us are going to be in the $1 million range. I am sure of that, especially with reform.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, then a few other points in the news, more focused on the US, because obviously we look a lot at the US and the news that's going on there, because it's quite a big driver for the world and especially for crypto. Whether you like him in politics or not, we're not going to dive into that. But Trump did an interview recently where he stated that, he basically backed Bitcoin and crypto in general officially once again, which he did before. And he mentioned that he sees a lot of use cases for it in the U.S. economy in the coming years. I think that's a very bullish signal as well, depending on obviously whether he will be back in office. But if he will be,
It's a, yeah, it's a very interesting point, because also, for example, Kennedy is also, of course, for the Independence Party, which is quite interesting because he is also pro crypto. So you have Trump pro crypto and Kennedy then being pro crypto, and then you have, yeah, of course, Biden. I think is a little bit less enthusiastic about it, but I don't know if that's because he thinks it's bad or he just does not understand it. It's the question. But yeah, the thing is that, yeah, for now you have two president candidacies who are both pro crypto, which is really, really good. And actually, I saw a video last time that Kennedy even went to the East Denver conference, which is quite special, I would say. Of course, they're also lobbying. They're lobbying with the people. But yeah, I think Trump and Kennedy are both pro crypto, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a little bit more smaller news, but I think it's quite it's a small news item, but I think it's quite a big thing actually. That's why I wrote it down. In Arizona, the Senate is now considering to add the Bitcoin ETF to the state's retirement portfolio.
I think it's actually a bad idea. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's that's of course, feel free to answer, but that's indeed quite a big thing because if all of them do that, you understand how extremely big these retirement portfolios are, right? Because it's just massive in the US. And I think it's very interesting to see this as a part of that, especially because that means that everyone is just bullish on the future of Bitcoin.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing, right? With pensions, it's all about the future. So if you're now 30 or 40 or whatsoever, yeah, you are going to retire whenever you're 60, 70, 80 maybe in the future, I don't know. But then it's very important that you have an asset that will remain its value. And as of now, you see it with the Bitcoin ETFs and a lot of interest over there, that actually, if they would add it in their portfolio, the pension funds, or let's say the retirement scheme of the government, that it's just a super nice addition for them. And I think once one sheep is over the dam, more will follow, right? That's
exactly
how it goes.
Exactly. That's also why I added it, because it's just the Arizona Senate, but once they have this and they see it works, I wouldn't be surprised to see all the other states following. And then I guess everything we discussed so far is all about what's happening in the crypto land, especially focused on BTC right now, because of course BTC is a little bit the leader here. And the crazy thing is, the BTC halving is in 36 days. So all of this is happening, and the big catalyst, the big trigger for all of this bullish activity should still happen. So what do you actually expect of the halving?
Well, it's a very hard question, because I did not expect everything that happened now with the Bitcoin ETF to have such a price increase. Normally it's like buy the rumor, sell the news. Halving, everyone knows it's coming, so everyone is buying the rumor, but then selling the moment, so to say, selling the news. Question is, will this time also be a sort of flash crash or whatsoever whenever the halving occurs? Because I just see that every dip that is happening in the market, literally every dip, is being bought up straight away. So I don't know. I'm just curious how it will progress. Of course, after something that goes up, it also needs to go down. But in what scale or quantity, I truly have no idea. And I think, like I said before, I believe in this buy the rumor, sell the news. But this time it's a question, because the ETF is just an external factor that's having a lot of influence in the Bitcoin market cap and price as of now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then the last point on the news for today is actually not directly related to crypto, but indirectly I think it is, because it's around the X platform, which is obviously the big social platform for anything crypto. Elon Musk made a statement that he is considering removing the amount of likes and retweets that you have on a post, so nobody can see how many you have besides yourself.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it makes the platform more, how would you say, makes the platform more social resilient and just all about the content itself. So if people like the content, they don't like it because a lot of other people like it, but they just like it because of the content itself. And yeah, I think that's an interesting take. I think as of now, of course, it's like a measurement tool. So people are just looking at, okay, how big is how big are your followers? How many likes do you have? How many retweets? Whatever, to actually measure if a project has like a narrative and if there's like a lot of things going on there. But I think removing that actually gives room for just focusing at fundamentals or fun content or whatever you're creating to attract people, and they're not going to be attracted because of numbers, but they're going to be attracted by your content. So that's interesting. Yeah, I did not know it, but an interesting take.
Yeah, I mean, it's a consideration, but I think it's interesting because it will definitely reshape a little bit how X is used by the crypto community, because there's, of course, so many airdrops and so many things that are all linked to likes and comments and tweets and things like that. So it's probably something that will have a bit of an impact on the crypto industry, and that's why I thought it was a nice additional news item as well.
Yeah, it's very big, very big thing actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, that was everything for the news. So whilst we run towards the Reform Classroom, the Broadcast Academy, we have another cool video for everyone to watch in the meantime about the past Broadcast Academy topics and what we're going to discuss today. So we'll be moving over there now, and we'll see you in the academy.
Yes, see you in a bit.
Hello, and welcome back, guys.
Hey, here we are again.
Here we are
new
again.
Studio.
Quite cool to see a new studio. It was a little bit of a technical difficulty because I said there wasn't going to be a cool video, and then there wasn't a cool. Well, there was a cool video, but not the one that I mentioned. But that's coming very soon.
You cannot have it all, right?
Yeah, no. It was a little bit of miscommunication. I thought it was ready, but it was a different one, and now we got the new Reform Academy. I think it looks great. It's I'm a big fan of seeing these new backgrounds and being in a new environment. So that's always a lot of fun. And without further ado, let's just dive in directly. Today, we're going to talk about the Reform DAO operations. Over the last few weeks, we spoke about the different money flows within Reform and how that works. We also spoke about tokenomics. And in the money flows, we explained how money from the bonding treasury, the designated market making, it's all flying towards it's all being sent towards the DAO treasury. And then the engine uses the funds in the DAO treasury to perform high frequency trading, and the realized profits that we make from that high frequency trading are for 65% used to do buybacks of the Reform token on the public exchanges. So this is our way of buying back the token, making it available for new people to buy it in the bonding treasury. We have explained all of this already before. What we haven't explained is what we do with the other 35%. So Scorpio, just highlighting or explain me very shortly, what do we actually do with the 35% of realized profits?
Yeah, so 65% goes, of course, to the buybacks, which is the majority, which is super important, of course, for the sustainability of the token. 25% is going towards the operational treasury, and 10% is going to the R&D.
Yeah, exactly. So with R&D, we're talking about the research and development treasury. Let's put it that way. But yeah, what is that actually? Maybe you can explain what does R&D include? Like, how does that work? What is it?
Yeah, for Reform, it's just super interesting, especially being a market maker and being involved with projects so early on. It's just very interesting to have some sort of small treasury whereby you can actually help those projects to actually start up their MVPs or whatsoever, because a lot of them do not have capital, but they have good ideas or a lot of brain power or a super solid team, and then they just need a small amount of capital to make a minimum viable product, whereby which they can actually showcase to investors or whatsoever to go to the market. And we as Reform, we stand, of course, for aligning incentives between all the stakeholders. We want to make sure that everyone in the market making process is incentivized, but also especially, we want to be part of those projects itself and just help them to kickstart whenever there's a need. So that's actually research and development, to really start the early projects with, let's say, some capital that they can create a minimum viable product, and that they can just do their thing and get the project onto the market. Of course, whereby Reform will then be the designated market maker for this specific project.
And would it be possible to give a sort of an example of a type of project / company or a specific niche where they are operating in, or does that not really matter?
To be fair, it does not really matter. Of course, I think for a market maker, it's very important, especially if you work with the model that we as Reform are going to use. It's very important that price increase will happen. Well, that will be a nice extra, especially after the service contract ends, to suffice for more capital inflow in the DAO treasury. It's actually very important that a product has a very solid product market fit, and that it's just very interesting for people in the crypto market as a whole to be part of. So as of now, of course, there are like AI narrative, BRC20, real world assets, all those kind of narratives are are ongoing. They're very much in the picture. And I just think that, especially from our point of view, it's always important then to have an influence in those specific focus areas to actually move with the market. That's just how it is. It's being flexible, be like water, be what the market wants you to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we do these investments, will we then say, okay, we want to invest in company A, and will there be a proposal where the community needs to vote on, or is this decided by the core contributors who are managing the DAO, or like how will that look?
Yeah, it's actually a very important question. This will actually be something that's not going to be disclosed, because those projects are starting off with an ID and a solid team, like I said. But the main importance here is that the product that they're going to create is not going to be front run by another party, because it's innovative. It has new features, like things that do not exist yet. So if that's already coming through the market, or let's say they're going to do a proposal, then they can be front run by anyone who's reading the proposal and thinks like, oh, hey, I have a big company, let's just make this in 2 weeks, and it's final. So, the investment's going to be done there. It's not going to be substantial. It's going to be maybe at most like 50K, at most 100K to create a minimum viable product. And to actually, create that, a sort of project that actually is going to be special and innovative, created by, bright minds. And I think there, for us, it's just very important that, of course, Reform will do the market making, the community will benefit, and actually, in the end, that we also will do some extra things to actually incentivize them to really become integrated with Reform itself.
Yeah, well, very interesting, very interesting. I'm really looking forward to see the type of companies that Reform is backing and the products that they will be releasing in the future. And I think it's great that this is a part of what we do with the profits that the company makes. Or the DAO makes. Well, with that explained, there's of course still another 25%, and that goes to the operations treasury, right?
Yeah, you're completely right.
Yeah. So I just want to highlight one other thing before we dive into the operations treasury, but it's not everything that goes in there, because last week we discussed the tokenomics of Reform, and there we also stated that 10% of the total Reform token supply is available for also for the operations treasury, right?
Yes, completely right.
So before I will ask you what the difference is in how the funds from the 25% realized profits and the 10% of the tokens that will be there, because it's two different flows, and I think they will be used in different ways. Maybe we can dive first into what will the operation treasury do? Like, what is this money used for?
Yeah, so the operations treasury is, of course, to suffice for the day-to-day business of the DAO. So there's a lot of stakeholders involved, whereby there's like, of course, people trading that actually need to maintain the algorithms. There's like third parties that's sufficing for the software. There's like people that are doing the marketing, the designs. Well, the studio that we're now in, which is amazing. Everything needs to be paid, right? It's like a DAO is not very different than a company. It's just that the bigger decisions and actually the value is flowing towards token holders instead of shareholders. So that's just a big difference. And in the essence, the operations treasury is just, if you create revenue, you need to suffice to, for your cost that you actually need to pay out to grow your business. And that's the same as with the DAO. So in this case, the operations will solely be used for hiring the right talent and making sure that Reform will get the attention, the projects, and actually the growth that it deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. And the difference, as I said before, between the money that comes from the fund, so the 25% that comes from the realized profit, sorry, the 25%, and the tokens that come in as Reform tokens. What's the difference in how they are spent? Like, let's dive into those, I guess.
Yeah. So people, of course, parties are incentivized in different ways. So we want to be incentivized. We want to be able to incentivize, Web3 people through tokens, especially for a longer period of time. But also, there's also a real world aspect to it, which just needs to be paid in dollars or something. So there's like two different ways how you could do that. One, of course, with the operation tokens, and one on the other side with the realized profits. Of course, there also needs to be a shift, right? So in the beginning, there will not be like enormous amounts of capital, and especially now, we're just in the raising process of liquidity, and not even for operations. So there's like a lot of prepayments and everything by the core contributors, which will be compensated over a longer period of time from the operations treasury in terms of tokens, because they're just dedicated, right? They prefer tokens over the money that they have right now in their pockets because they believe in Reform. So it's like it's like an investment. That's how you can see it. Which will come back over time, and especially whenever the realized profits of the revenue being generated that flows towards the operations treasury will grow. Let's say in the right amount to cover for all the operational expenses. That will of course be where we are aiming to go to, because if that's the case, then you're neutral and you can only grow from there. With extra capital inflow, more liquidity providing, and doing more projects for the designated market making. So it's like you should see it as a pivot point, right? So we start with the more like the token focused, whereby the core contributors are more incentivized with tokens, and then on the to actually suffice for the operations to create all of this. And then you go more to the other side. The more liquidity flows in, the more realized profits are being made. then it's really flowing towards a revenue model that can actually suffice for the cost. So that's how it's structured.
Yeah, and I think that's something very interesting, because we get a lot of questions about, and it's when we go to the Q&A, it's another question, of course, like every week, but we get a lot of questions about the funding and the fundraising and things like that. But something that we haven't really said out loud, which you just did, which I think is very important to highlight as well, is that the core contributors are putting down all the money that is needed to build and run the operation as we speak.
Because also, because an important point is that the money that's being raised, that's being raised through the bonding treasury, is all liquidity. So this is all TVL that's going to be used to trade with and to actually generate more tokens with, that we can use then to do the R&D operations and the buybacks. So in the end, this is not, as of now, it's not enough to cover costs or anything like that. And in the end, Reform has been building already over the past 1.5 years. No one saw it because it was all in the background, but it has been a very well thought process to get to the point where it is today. If you build something over 1 to 1.5 years, it's not that it does not cost anything. So there, you need to pay, put down your money, put your money where your mouth is. That's actually the saying that we prefer the most. And that's what we do. We put the money where our mouth is, and we make sure that it's there, and that we actually, of course, will also get that back in a later stage. But then, indeed, in the form of tokens, which is for us more than fine, because we believe in the future of the protocol.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's such a valid and strong point, in my opinion, because indeed we have a team worldwide. There's so many people working on this already, and everyone needs to eat at the end of the month and pay their bills, right? So there's a lot of funds that are required to just set up everything, and what you guys have worked on for the last 1.5 years, and for the last, I would say, half a year with me involved even, and it's just great to see that there is so much funding available as well. So it really shows the passion and the belief that the team has behind their own product, and I think that's always very good to see.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well then the last thing that I kind of wanted to dive into was, so we're raising money, right? We raised, I don't know, $1 million on realized profits this year, and $250,000 goes to the operations treasury. Now, okay, how much do we need to spend on who, and how does that work? Fictional numbers, of course, but I think it's important to also understand who determines what is spent on what, on who manages the money, and how much they spend.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I think in regards to a DAO, how it's normally been set up, or normally how it's initially was thought of, a DAO, it should be fully decentralized, and everything should be done through multi-signatures, through community voting, and all things like that. That is just not workable. Creating something like that is not going to work, because if you need to vote for every 1K that you spend on that party, and $500 that you need to spend on this, and $200 on the moderator, and if you need to every time vote for it and then do all those things, it's not workable. You're not going to make an efficient structure. So for us, what's most important is that we have a decentralized part, whereby the constitution is created by the token holders, whereby the bigger decisions actually that influence the token value and actually influence the overall structure of the flow of the token and the DAO itself. There actually all the token holders are involved. But on the downside, let's say the more centralized part, whereby the designated market making is also done and the operations are being managed, there it's actually just decided, okay, it's going to be spent like this and that, just to be very fast and flexible in the way of operating. Of course, there comes like some sort of trust also there, but I think that's also how it should be, because especially how the structure is made is that, the token holders are actually creating the constitution, and the constitution needs to be followed by the directors. And if the directors do not follow the constitution, then they will actually be removed by the trustee, because the trustee holds the shares of the company. So in the end, it's always so
I just wanted to quickly, put a break there, because I think this is a very important, a very difficult thing to explain and understand. And that's also why in 2 weeks from now we have a dedicated space on the legal structure of the DAO and how the DAO works. And I think it's better to dive into there, because we will, of course, come with visuals as well that show the flow that you just tried to explain, because I think it's very important. that people understand this part, because as you said, it's important that everyone is verified at all times, because there's a lot of trust and a lot of responsibilities in their hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, we'll do that in the future space, and it will be way more in detail for everyone to properly understand.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned, because another thing that comes to my mind is, how do we guarantee that the funds are safe, right? And one of the things you mentioned is multi-signature. So it's never one person of the core contributors or the team that can do any actions. It's always the whole team that needs to decide still, right?
Yeah, that's always the case. You need to have multi-signatures in place to make sure that it's safe and well. And of course, also on the token side and everything, while trading on exchanges and everything, it's also important to have at least measurements in place for whenever it grows bigger and better, to have like custodians in place and all those kind of things. So that's all for the future. But I think indeed, as of now, multi-signature wallets for everything that's being gathered, or like the token contract owner even. Everything is held with the core contributors, and they're just holding it on behalf of the DAO, and making sure that everything is safe and well, and not being executed or decided by one person, but it's by indeed the core contributors together. And this is something that can also grow out, right? We want to also have more and more core contributors in place, renowned parties, let's say. Let's say anyone who is actually very reputable and wants to has the best interest for reform. That's then a way of actually becoming the multi-signature side of things. So that's all arranged well for now, but it can grow in multiple ways to actually make it more robust.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Well, that was everything I had on the list for today. So thanks so much again for explaining everything. That was great. We still have some questions to go. So let's quickly go to the Q&A studio, and guys, we'll be back in a minute.
Okay, see you in a minute.
See you there. Scorpio still with us?
Alrighty, here we are.
All right, nice. Okay, so let's dive into this. So we don't have too many questions for today. There were a lot of questions in the community, but a lot of things were not really resolving the topics of today. So I answered a lot of those already in the Discord. And of course, if you ever have questions or want to know, get to know us a little bit better, we're always in the Discord. Jump in. But there were some questions which I thought were interesting to dive into today. So one that I already mentioned a little bit, Scorpio. Who is involved in the funding of the Reform DAO project?
So as of now, we have already a lot of, let's say, because we think it's very important to have a distributed allocation amongst, a lot of parties, so that one party is going to take it all, so to say. So we have quite some private investors already on board. We have, let's say, a few bigger ones. So Growity, who's actually sufficing for the software. of the DAO to do the designated market making is actually the biggest investor, of course. There was also an article posted about it for 500K in USDT. Then we have also the HODL group, which is an investor. As of now, it will also be noted on the website. And we're still very much in talks with a lot of other parties, which cannot be disclosed yet. But I think it's also important for now to know for everyone that we're already in a quite mature stage of the funding in general. In terms of percentage, we're actually 70% sold out. So that's great, and it's also going the right direction. Making sure that we have a spread distribution of the token, which we think is super important for a DAO.
All right, yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. And just to highlight who you mentioned, because you said private investors, you mentioned Growity. I guess there will be other parties that are involved. Can we say more about, I don't think we can mention the names. Of course, we published the Decubate already, but maybe we can give some more detailed examples, because people are really looking for these answers, of course.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, like I said, we're just very much focused on getting a distributed amount of people on board. We know that, of course, having a Binance Labs or whatsoever on the cap table is always something that people are looking for. We just think that, okay, it would be nice to have them on the cap table. We have indeed conversations going, not per se with them, or like with a variety of VCs also, like the bigger names. But it's also like the way it's structured for reform through a bonding structure that actually is being done through smart contracts, looking for 1 to 5 years actually, while everything now is actually within the 2 and 5 years. It's just a very different structure as they're used to, with the soft paper and all those kind of things. So I don't know if it's going to be of their biggest interest to be involved, but I also don't think that it's a necessity. It will be good for credibility, but I think, the way we're showing ourselves to the market and how we're actually already performing, it already shows that we're here, to change the market, so to say, and to disrupt it. And do not lag behind. And even though the funding is maybe not coming as of now already from the bigger parties, they will follow as soon as we're live.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and then the next big question everyone is asking, and maybe we can shed some light on this as well, is when mainnet/when TGE?
So sorry. So
Sure.
when mainnet, when TGE, it's always when. It's always funny thing. Everyone needs to actually also see how busy we are to get this to the market. We would love to launch today. We would also love to launch yesterday. But we just wanted to launch when the moment is right. Of course, we said before we're aiming for Q1, end of Q1. I don't think it's going to be manageable. I think a small extension will be there. We will also announce this to the Discord and to everyone appropriately to make sure that everyone is at least informed. And that's just to be realistic, right? We don't want to launch at the moment that we're not comfortable of launching yet, because we just, like mentioned always, we just wanted to launch whenever everything is ready and to do the best launch ever, with the right partners, with the right entities, with the right KOLs, with the right everything, to make sure that reform is going to be a big success. So that's all still in the pipeline. It's ongoing. Like I said, end of Q1 is most likely not going to be made. But keep in mind that we were aiming for end of Q1. So I would say April will be on the charts, and that's our core goal right now. But we'll keep you in the loop, and I think that's also the progress, how it's being done, to make sure that everyone stays informed and everyone stays in the loop. But it's also being realistic in that sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think it's all fair enough, right? Because in the end, if of course we can go live tomorrow, we can just press the button and go live. But what's going to happen? So it's not in the best interest of anyone. And I think that's very important. Yeah.
It's how you say it, right? We can tomorrow set up the liquidity pool, fill it, launch a token, to go with the partners that we already have, and go for it, right? It's possible, 100% sure. But whenever you launch, you only have one launch, right? And you want to launch properly. And I think
Yeah.
that's, well, properly you want to launch perfect. That's actually what we're aiming for right now. So
Exactly.
yeah, take that in mind. Take that in mind. That's the main importance.
And guys, don't worry. If we're working our ass off to make sure we launch at the perfect time with the perfect launch to go 100x, just because you guys can go 100x on your airdrops and on your buy-ins and on everything as well. So, just stick with us. We will keep you up to date with everything that's happening, and of course, we're launching new initiatives week in, week out.
And just that you can see only our let's say 2D cartoons as of now. It does not mean that we are not gray yet and getting bald and like wrinkled and everything like that because of the stress.
I keep asking when Lambo, but I think I'll be over by the time we're there.
Exactly.
All right. Well, another question was how we handle people that use multiple accounts to loot or farm the airdrop. I can answer that one, and that's pretty simple, guys. We have a very strong and very experienced Discord team, and in general, a team that is on top of these things. Yeah, we have a tech team on the side as well who is looking into all the details for the Galaxy campaigns and for what's happening and the traffic on our website. And we verify IP addresses. We make sure that people don't farm from multiple accounts as much as we can, especially for the airdrops. And yeah, we're just on top of that. So besides that, we do think that our airdrops are not that easy to acquire. There's some effort you have to put in. So it's also not that people can just do this 20 times a day because it takes you a lot of time to actually be eligible for one of the airdrops. But yeah, we're just on top of it as much as we can, guys. And yeah, we're always happy to answer your questions on this if you have more of these in the Discord as well. Then what is next after the airdrop, Scorpio? A lot of people are asking what's next because we've always said, oh, we do the airdrop, next airdrop, third airdrop. And then I guess next is gearing up for the TG, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. The testnet was the first phase, and now we're actually very much into the process of getting the right, let's say, partners on board that are going to spread the awareness for reform. So it's going to be a huge amount of people of following, so to say, that actually people are going to spread the word of reform to actually make sure that it's going to get the attention that it deserves. And whenever that's in place, then we're going to really get into the into the stage of actually launching, and that's also combined with announcing the partners that we're going to launch with in terms of brokers, in terms of exchanges, in terms of like everything in regards to that to build up towards that moment where everyone is waiting for, which is the TG. And then after that, post TG, we already also have plans for that. In talks with parties to actually have also a continued flow of positive sentiment. So we're preparing everything. We're making sure that it goes well. And some parties you need to have in place before, some parties you need to have during, and some parties you need to have post. And I think that's just what we're busy with right now. The plan is there, and we now need to just get in touch with all these people and well, in touch. Need to finalize everything with these people and parties, and then reform will be golden.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another question that we see a lot is what about the NFTs? That's something that comes after the TG as well. If you are eligible for an airdrop, that means you are eligible for a raffle ticket, which gives you the opportunity to get a free NFT. And we'll give you a lot of information on these NFTs very soon. We're about to start the narrative around that. But for now, it's good for you guys to know if you are eligible for the airdrop, you're good to go also on the NFT side. We'll have a dedicated space or a dedicated broadcast on the NFTs at a later stage. And that's one of the big things that comes after the TG as well. Then the last question of today, Scorpio. Or actually, let me just quickly check in the chat. Someone asked, "What about if we farm from the same house, like husband and wife?" Yeah, it should be fine. I mean, I don't have all the details, guys, on how exactly our team is managing it, but we have quite a big team, and we're on top of it to make sure our airdrop is distributed as fair as possible, and everyone that put in all the effort will be rewarded for it. That's for sure. So don't worry about that too much. And then the last question of today that I had, Scorpio, which, to be honest, I think it's quite interesting. The token will be available on the Ethereum network, right?
Yeah.
So they said, when will it be available on other networks?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. We are, let's say, exploring also the possibilities of bridging towards other ecosystems, because it's just very important indeed for gas fees, but also to have at least your token over there. So we know that it's like a necessity to have it. For now, it's not on the priority list. It's mainly something that will come after launch. So yeah, that's just how it is, because we want to have, again, that robust infrastructure of Ethereum as first, and then move. It's a, how do you say it, conscious decision to actually do it on ETH. We know it's expensive, but that's also because it's robust and it's decentral and it's working already for a longer period of time. And it has proven itself. That's the main important thing. And then indeed, building the bridges towards the other ecosystem, it's just a second step. And especially after TG, that will be something that's on the charts for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think that's a great answer. To be very honest, I wasn't even sure of this myself, so it's great to learn as well in the meantime. Well, I think that was everything for today, Scorpio. I want to thank you so much again for being here.
Sounds good.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure. The pleasure is completely mine to actually, let's say, educate you all more about reform together with Paulus.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for tuning in today. We had a lot of fun again, and it's always great to talk about these things, talk about reform, the market, and have you guys, hang out with us, learn from us, also help us by asking your questions, because it sets us to thinking as well. And we have a lot of fun doing these. So thanks so much for everyone who was here, and we'll see you all next week again.
Yes. Thank you all for your time and effort and input, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.